animated series is a legendary piece of television that revolutionized the superhero genre. It introduced viewers to an incredible cast of characters, both heroes and villains, and explored complex themes that made it much more than your typical animated show. And oh boy, it is. It's so much more than just an animated show. It's not just a lazy show, but it's actually great story, man. There's also one episode, the episode about Mr. Freeze, that actually won a Grammy, I think, which is quite absurd to actually think about. Like an episode, mainly focused and targeted for kids, won an Emmy for best written episode in a television show, which is quite absurd and quite interesting to hear, because that episode was completely really really interesting and really wild to actually see, and it was really emotional at some points too. So, obviously, Batman the Animated Series, hence the title. It's about Batman. It's about Batman slash Bruce Wayne, the brooding vigilante of Gotham City, voiced by Kevin Conroy, the GOAT, who brought gravitas and humanity to the role. Gravitas, I think that's how you pronounce it. I think hopefully I pronounced that right, but you know what? I don't care. He did for sure bring humanity to the role, because Kevin Conroy really has this calm voice, and when he talks, in his Bruce Wayne voice, his words are very chosen very carefully, which is really interesting. And Batman is also very careful with his words, and I think Kevin Conroy is the perfect voice, and he's also and always will be the perfect voice for Batman. Obviously, he sadly passed away. I think last year, or what was it? I think I think it was last year, which is quite unfortunate. But Kevin Conroy is such a brilliant man, and I should miss him, because he's a great Batman voice, and also a voice that I grew up with. So there we go. We also have Alfred Pennyworth as obviously himself. I guess Alfred Pennyworth, Bruce's loyal butler and confidant, serving as the emotional anchor of the series. And also, this actor also recently died, which is quite unfortunate too. We also have Commissioner Jim Gordon, Batman's ally in Gotham Police Department, who believes in justice but operates within the law, and Batman really doesn't do that. Batman really is befriended with Jim Gordon, obviously, like every other incarnation is. Which is really interesting and really nice to see. We also have Robin, Batman's trusted ally, who added warmth and partnership to the dynamic duo. The thing is, I really like the two-parter about the Dick Graysons, or the Flying Graysons. To be honest, Dick Grayson is one of my favorite Batman characters, and to be honest, Batman and the Bat Family I always admired, and Dick Grayson is, together with Star-Lord, is, one of my favorite superheroes. It's weird because, you know, Nightwing is just a fantastic character, and I really love reading him in comics, and he's the DC character with the biggest bum in the world. So there we go. No, just kidding. I just really love Robin slash Dick Grayson slash Nightwing, and it was nice to see him in this show. But it's not about the heroes, it's also about the villains, because what is Batman without his greatest rogues gallery? The show is renowned for humanizing Batman's rogues gallery. Villains weren't just evil for the sake of it. They often had tragic backstories and motives, and also had some, I guess, mental illnesses that they suffered from. And most of Batman's villains have mental illnesses. Like the first character here, the Joker, voiced by Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker. And not only is Luke Skywalker a great character, played by Mark Hamill, but also the Joker is. And Mark Hamill, fantastic job doing the Joker, and he's so fascinating to hear. This version of the Joker is chaotic, hilarious, and terrifying all at once, and really reminded me of the Three Jokers storyline of the comics, where you have obviously the criminal, the clown, and I think it was like the smart genius or something. I'm not quite sure. And obviously, this Joker is all three in one, and very interesting, very nice, and the Three Jokers comic book storyline is also very, very nice and very interesting to read. If you have the time, go check that out if you want. We have Harley Quinn, voiced by, I think it was Tara Strong, right? Or most notably known for being voiced by Tara Strong. Harley Quinn making her debut in the series, Harley became an instant fan favorite with her quirky and predictable charm. And yes, Harley Quinn has come a long way from obviously the animated show, and obviously now we might know her from Margot Robbie, but also from her own animated show. And she also has great comic book lines and great comic book stories, which is really, really nice. And I really love Harley Quinn as a character. I really loved her in the animated show, and it's nice to see her roots, I guess. We have Two-Face slash Harvey Dent, a heartbreaking portrayal of a man torn between his good and evil sides. Poison Ivy, an eco-terrorist who believes in saving the planet at any cost. Mr. Freeze, his episode Heart of Ice, like I said, redefined the character with a poignant, I guess, backstory of love and loss. And this was also the episode that was actually won with a Grammy, I suppose, or an Emmy, or what was it? I'm not quite sure. One of the two. So there we go. We also have Scarecrow, a master of fear, embodying physiological horror. My bad. The Riddler, clever and cunning, leaving riddles as breadcrumbs for Batman. Struggled between my words there. But we also had the Mad Hatter. We had we had the ventriloquist dummy, which is really interesting. We also had the Penguin, Man Bat. We had Killer Croc. We had so many notable characters. Ra's al Ghul, also one of those great characters. Which ones do we have left? Oh boy, it's so weird because plenty of different villains were introduced in the show, and some of them were so sad and so interesting to see. Like most notable ones that I really liked were Mad Hatter, which, you know, he's based off Alice in Wonderland, which really is interesting, which is really an interesting story in general. But Mad Hatter, he suffers from a mental illness where he thinks he's some kind of smartass, I guess. Thinking of yourself being a smartass. I'm not quite sure if that's a mental illness, but still, he does suffer from certain mental illnesses, and he makes heads to control people. And obviously, because he controls people, he tries to, manipulate people, and that obviously turns out wrong, which is really interesting. And I also really like the ventriloquist dummy, which, that guy also suffers a lot of mental illnesses. And just like I said, Batman is not Batman without his rogue gallery. And a lot of these characters aren't really evil in a way. Like Mr. Freeze himself, he's not evil. He just wants to protect his wife at any cost possible, because he begins to rob and begins to thief things, to actually make sure that his wife is actually all right. And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze, was alright. He was decent. He also had the same themes and ideas. But I think the animated series, because it's animated, it's brought more, I guess, beautiful in a way. I'm not quite sure. Like, I really loved seeing all the different characters in the Batman movies, like the Tim Burton Batman films, and then the Val Kilmer Batman film, and also the George Clooney Batman films. But, also the Batman himself, like the Batman film from 2022. I really loved that film too, and it's one of my favorite films ever made from the superhero franchises. Because sometimes you don't really need a wacky superhero like Clayface, or no, I mean a supervillain like Clayface, or I'm not quite sure. You can actually also make them very grounded. Like Clayface was also a very interesting villain to see, because his story is about a working, struggling actor who takes a sort of like a thing that he puts on his face, and his face becomes like, droopy and stuff like that, and becomes Clayface in that way. So that's very, very interesting, obviously. Alright, we have core themes, we have duality and identity. Many characters grapple with the conflict between who they are and who they aspire to be. Batman himself is a study in duality, balancing Bruce Wayne's public persona with Batman's mission for justice. Tragedy and redemption. The series often examines how trauma shapes individuals, showing villains as victims of circumstance while occasionally offering glimmers of redemption. Ethics and morality. Batman faces dilemmas that challenge the boundaries between law and justice. His unwavering rule against killing highlights the moral complexities of vigilantism. Isolation and loneliness. Both heroes and villains in Gotham experience profound loneliness, which drives their actions and choices. Fear and hope. Gotham is a city steeped in fear, but Batman's presence symbolizes hope for its citizens. The show also utilizes film's noir aesthetics, moody visuals, and Danny Elfman's haunting theme song, creating a timeless atmosphere. So yeah, that's also very nice. Danny Elfman's theme song was also fab take on Batman, and I just hope that he'll be bringing Batman to more comic book-ish world where, you know, supervillains like Clayface, Harley Quinn, Two-Face, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, the Riddler can all coexist and all make sense, right? And I also really want to see Nightwing and the Bat Family and the Teen Titans coexist with all these villains, with all like the bigger DC universe that James Gunn is trying to set up. Obviously, every sort of film and show that he's going to set up is going to be with a different theme and a different, I hope, a different way and a different view on how to interpret these characters. Like the Lantern show won't be the same as like the dynamic duo animated show or film. My guess is that they're going to introduce new aspects, like obviously with Batman lean in more with the film noir aesthetic, and with Superman, the hopeful, colorful thing that Superman is. I just hope that we'll see the best side of every character that we can possibly see. But I can just talk about Batman and my favorite comic books, for hours. But I'm going to end the video right here, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed my take on Batman the animated series, my review on this, and I just can't bloody wait to see how the next batch of artists, filmmakers, and writers are going to adapt my favorite comic book characters onto the big screen or onto the comic book panels, because bloody hell, I'm a big Batman fan, and I'm a big Nightwing fan, I'm a big Robin fan. I just love the Bat family so dearly, and I just bloody can't wait to see what they'll do in the future with them. So alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will check you later. Goodbye everyone, or should I say, I'm Batman.